Alright, guys. So, I feel like there's one thing that Neverness to Everness really needs to get right. Now, disclaimer before we talk about it, it's not a make or break kind of thing for the game. It's nothing serious, alright? Because I feel like Neverness to Everness so far is doing a lot of things right. Their whole gacha game board thing, I just saw that for the first time.
Really, nigga?
You know, how it almost gives you like a guaranteed path to, high ranked characters and stuff like that. Like, that's cool. And you can choose your rewards. It's kind of like gacha having its, like own battle pass where you can, select the rewards you're going to go after at a time. Kind of like what Fortnite did with their battle passes. And I think that's a cool thing. But there's one other element with the game that I know that just stands out to I'm not going to say a larger, but maybe a smaller group of people that people in the gacha space, really appreciate, especially, a lot of us coming from like an MMO background and stuff like that. And when I say MMO background, you guys probably already know what I'm talking about. Yes, that is multiplayer. Let's get into it. Gamers and gamettes, what is going on? My name is Tanek127 and welcome back to another video. And guys, in today's video, I want to talk to you all more about Neverness and Everness, also known as NTE. However, if you want to stay updated on all things Neverness, make sure you are liking today's video, subscribing to the channel if you are new, and let's go ahead and get on into today's subject. So, if you've been looking in the gacha space and everything like that, a lot of people play solo, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. I actually don't know if some gacha games can even be played offline. Like, for those who play on mobile or other platforms, can you play games like Genshin, Wuthering Waves, Zenless, or any of them offline? Like, let me know. I'm always connected to the internet, so I've never even bothered like looking into that problem. But I know a lot of gacha players are fine with playing their games solo. But I will say there is a small dedicated group out there for multiplayer. Not that small, it's a pretty decent sized group, and I've seen that with a couple of games I've been involved in. For example, even Bite Sticks himself, one of the bigger gacha creators out there, he even praised Seven Deadly Sins because it had, full on multiplayer. It wasn't just like a side half-ass thing, kind of like how, Genshin Impact did their multiplayer. You could do the questing together, you could do dungeons together, you can do endgame content together. Everything in Seven Deadly Sins Origin you can do together. And not to mention Zenless Zone Zero, they had a small multiplayer event. The event only lasted a few weeks. But there are people already on Twitter and other social media begging Zenless to bring multiplayer back. There was also a multiplayer mode in Zenless Zone Zero during its beta, and it was a lot of fun. At the end of the day, like being able to build these characters up and take down giant bosses and dungeons with your friends, it is a pretty cool and fun thing. And I'm just hoping Neverness to Everness, they tend to. I'm hoping they offer more of it than a lot of the other gacha games out there. Zenless, their multiplayer is actually fun, but they only bring it in limited time increments. Like I have a feeling that Zenless's multiplayer is just always going to be an event kind of thing. I'm praying that they implement a permanent mode, kind of like how the beta seemed like the game was going to, but I'm not sure. Seven Deadly Sins Origins, despite it not being the greatest brand new gacha game we've ever got, they did multiplayer right. And just the little features that like the little features that Wuthering Waves has for it, and Genshin Impact, it just shows the multiplayer lacks in a lot of these games, and there's an audience out there that wants that kind of thing. I'm not saying gacha games have to go full on MMO or have content that requires 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players, or however many can be in a group for certain activities and stuff like that, because I know that'll start turning off a lot of people. They work hard and build their characters, and one thing they love being able to do is solo that stuff. Like, guys, trust me, I'm a big fan of Steparu, man. I love watching him crush stuff in videos solo and stuff like that. Like, I get it for you solo players. I understand. But I'm just saying, there is an audience out there for the multiplayer, and I feel like Neverness to Everness, especially since these guys are the dudes that made Tower of Fantasy, which was a gacha MMORPG. I feel like there's going to be a lot of fans that look towards their game and say, hey, for us guys that you made the MMO for, did you sprinkle a little something in there for us? That's all. That's all I'm saying. And I just feel like, if they do the multiplayer right and they just, balance the game fairly for both sides, make sure there's content for the solo guys and content for, the guys that want to team up with friends, I feel like the game could go very far. That's all I'm saying. Let me know how you feel about this in the comments below. Are you a multiplayer guy or are you a single player guy? Are you a single player guy who would be happy to see people get their multiplayer fix? Are you a single player guy who's just anti-multiplayer and you hate the idea, period? I don't care what side you're on. Just let me know in the comments. Let me know how you feel. I'm genuinely curious what you guys are thinking. Are you going to play Neverness to Everness when it releases? Let me know down in the comments below. Y'all enjoyed today's video? Smash that like. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out. Have a good one.
Filling the lungs inside you, and the black and